So just getting settled and seated. So you can either sit on a chair or sit cross-legged, or you could sit on a cushion just to give yourselves a little bit of support, or a block or a brick. And it's just about being comfortable for now. So in our seated position, whatever you're in, just think about lengthening the spine. And we're going to do some very gentle breathing to begin with. So I want you to breathe in through the nose and then out through the mouth, and just feel the shoulders relax and the chest soften. And once more, just breathing in through the nose. And this time, wrap up any unwanted or negative thoughts that might be swirling around in your brain today or your minds, and just send them out on the out breath. And now we're going to do some deep yogic breathing or belly breathing. So when you breathe in, I want you to think about breathing into your tummy. As you breathe in, feel the tummy expand, and as you breathe out, feel the tummy contract. Breathing in. Allow the tummy to be big, breathing deeply into the body, breathing out, and allowing the tummy to contract. Breathing deeply, and then breathing out. And with every out breath of this big belly breathing, just feel the body and the muscles soften and relax. And then bring the breath back to a normal breathing. Blinking the eyes open. We're going to start connecting our breath with our movements. So bring your arms down by your side. Really try and lengthen the spine so we're reaching the head towards the ceiling. And we're going to do a nice little arm flow just to get our chest expanding. So as we breathe in, we're just going to lift the arms up. Feel the chest expand, the hands come into prayer, breathe out, and the hands come to heart center. And whilst we're here, just try and push the heels of the hands together, except for Paul, of course. Just push the heels of the hands together. And we're going to do that twice more. So breathing in, lifting up, creating space in the waist, expanding the rib cage. Breathe out and bring the hands to heart center. Heels of the hands together, lifting the elbows. Breathe in, lifting the hands up. Breathe out and bring the hands to heart center. And then just release the hands down by your side. Let's sweep the legs over to all fours position. I know we're going to be in all fours there, Paul, but we're not going to do anything too weight bearing, I think, for now. So just adjust the movements to suit. So you could also have your hand on a brick so that you've got your palm not on the floor, a part brick, if that makes sense. So we're going to just think about our core muscles here. So this is our all fours position here. Draw that belly button in towards you. And then we're going to do 2 cow cats. So inhale, tipping the pelvis forward, taking the gaze up towards the ceiling. Exhale, drawing the belly button in and expanding, creating space through the chest. Breathe in, tipping the pelvis forward. And then breathe out and tucking the pelvis under. And then coming back to a neutral position. I want us to walk our hands slightly forward so that our hips are a little bit open and loose. And we're just going to do a few hip rolls just to open out the hips and ease out. So we'll take our hips over to the right, up towards the ceiling, over to the left, and then tucking the pelvis slightly under. So we're just opening the hips out. And then creating circular motion with the hips and incorporating the spine. And then when we get to the cat position, we can rotate the other way. So going over to the left, up to the ceiling, over to the right, tucking under. And just rotating the hips the other way. And then come back to stillness and walk the hands back, and we're going to come into child's pose. So open the knees out and spread the knees nice and wide and draw the hands and the chest towards the floor. And we can have our hands underneath our forehead if we wanted to, just as our first child's pose. So as we're here, just allowing the hips to soften and relax. Think about on the next out breath, relaxing the shoulders and opening the chest. And allowing the heart to go towards the floor. And if we've been here a couple of breaths, we might be feeling a little bit more softened. And if we can, you might want to open your arms out and stretch the hands forward. If it's a little bit too intense, take your hands out into a wider V position, and that might enable you to bring your forehead to the floor. And then in our own time, walking the hands back and bringing your body upright. Bring the knees in line if they're in a wide child's pose, and then bring the hands forward back into all fours. And then we're going to come through into, I'm going to walk my hands forward again, and this time I'm going to come into lying on the floor. So just gently going to bring my chest towards the floor and my chin towards the floor and lengthen out my legs beside me. So open the legs out a little bit wider, and we're going to come into Sphinx pose. So I'm going to bring my forearms towards the front of the mat, placing one hand, either hand at the far edges. My gaze is forward. I'm going to breathe in, and keeping my forearms on the floor, lift my back and start to work. Gaze upwards. And we're going to hold this here for 3 breaths. So breathing in and out. In and out. In. And on the next out breath, just lowering the chest towards the floor. Bring the legs back in line with you and bring your hands towards your chest. And this time we're going to come back in towards child's pose. So bring the hips towards the heels and lengthen forward. And now we're going to do a little bit of a cobra child's pose flow. So we've done this before. So my arms are slightly forward, and I'm going to ripple through as if I was a cat licking a bowl of milk. So I'm bending my elbows outwards. I'm bringing my forehead towards the floor, and I'm lengthening my body upwards. My hands are now near my chest, and I open my legs. And then I'm just going to lift my head upwards towards the cobra position. Now it might just be a little bit upwards, just because we're going to repeat this and ease ourselves into full cobra. I lower my chest, and then I take my hips backwards, and then have a little stretch into child's pose again. Now we're going to do that 4 more times. So breathe in, looking forward, and all the way up. Breathe out and lowering the chest down, back into child's pose. Breathe in, looking forward, lifting the gaze and a little bit higher maybe, and then breathe out, lowering the chest and bringing the hips back into child's pose. Breathe in, bringing your body upright, maybe a little bit higher. Breathe out, bringing the chest down towards the mat and the hips towards the heels. Last time, breathe in, lifting the chest really high this time. Breathe out, and then bringing the chest down and back into child's pose. And just remain in child's pose for a few more breaths, easing out. back into all fours position and just work your way out through into the centre of the mat. And we're going to come into downward facing dog. So tuck the toes under and have a little stretch of the toes first. So we're just having a bit of a stretch on the soles of the feet. Really great for your plantar fascia. So maybe just have a ease out for the toes. Breathe in, and we're going to come into downward facing dog on the out breath. And it's our first downward facing dog for today. So think about just easing out the backs of the legs. And so very slowly, we're going to do a walk the dog. So normally I would just do it in my own time. This time we're going to do it, but just with a little bit of ease. If this is too much for you, Paul, then you can come back into all fours position. So bending the right leg and just lengthening the left heel down towards the mat. Switching over, so lengthen the right heel down and bend the left leg and really feel the stretch down the back of the leg. And once more, bending the right leg and drawing that left heel down. Really think about a diagonal pull with the sit bones going towards the ceiling as well. Spreading the fingers wide and then switching over and bringing the right heel down and bending the left leg. And then now coming down into a downward facing dog, but stretching both heels down towards the mat and really reaching the sit bones towards the ceiling. So we have a diagonal two-way stretch. And we're now going to come, you can either walk your feet towards your hands, or if that's too much, lower the knees back down towards the mat, tuck the toes under, walk the hands back and come roll up through the spine and then coming up to standing position. Nice and steadily. And I'm just going to organise myself a little bit better with my microphone because it fell out halfway through. So coming into our mountain pose position just here. So we're really going to try and connect with the floor. So lift all 10 toes off the floor and spread them nice and wide, drawing them down. So really try and open the toes out. And then think about finding the midpoint between the feet so that we haven't got our weight shifted forward or our weight shifted back, but we're finding a really grounded, strong position in our mountain pose. We're slightly lifting up from the pubic bone towards the belly button, so thinking about lifting the front of the body up. Maybe a soft knee and lengthening the head towards the ceiling. My heart is open, my shoulders are down but relaxed, no tension, and my arms are slightly turned out. And I feel that strong connection with the earth. And we're going to do a nice little arm flow to get our breath going as well. So I'm going to breathe my hands all the way up towards the ceiling. I breathe in. On the out breath, my hands come forward towards my chest. So my arms are long, but my palms are facing together and my hands are out in front of me. I breathe in, my arms open out, opening the chest and opening the heart. Breathe out and my arms float back down again. So I want you to think about just the breath in and out and really breathing deeply. It's the breath that will calm us if we're in a slightly panicking mode or if we've got our fight and flight systems kicked in. So breathe in, lift the arms all the way up to the ceiling. Breathe out and the hands come in front of the chest, arms along. Breathe in, opening the chest. Breathe out and float the arms down. Breathe in, lifting the arms up. Breathe out, the hands come in front of you. Breathe in, open the chest, open the arms. Breathe out and lower the hands purposefully. Last time. Breathing in, lifting up. Breathe out and the arms come down. Breathe in, open the chest. Breathe out and lower the hands down. This time I'm going to breathe both arms up and we'll do a little stretch to the side. So breathe in, the arms come up to the ceiling. Breathe out, the right hand comes down towards the side. And we stretch and reach over towards the right. Breathe in, both hands come up towards the ceiling. And then breathe out and we stretch over towards the left. Breathe in, both hands come up. Breathe out. This time the right hand comes forward, the left hand comes back, and we take a gaze over our left shoulder, trying to maintain the hips forward. Breathe in, lift both hands up, and we repeat that on the left hand side. Breathe out, the left hand comes forward, the right hand comes back, and we come for a twist. Keep the shoulders down into the back. Breathe in, lifting both hands up towards the ceiling. This time we're going to do a swan dive. So my arms sweep down beside me and I come into forward fold. So I'm pitching forward at the waist and I'm drawing my chest towards my thighs. Now it's our first forward fold. So really try and relax the body down. You might want to bend your knees and allow the head to be relaxed. Bring the hands towards opposite elbow and we'll come into ragdoll pose. Trying to relax the head. And then let's swing the body side to side. So see if we can have a little rotation of the body, right to left, easing out the backs of the legs. Now I'm just going to turn to the side so that you can see. We're going to come into modified monkey pose. So release the hands from the elbows, draw the hands up the legs, walk them up towards the thighs. And this time we're going to lengthen the backs of the legs and lengthen the back. So lengthening the body and lengthening out the backs of the legs. We should be feeling a nice stretch in the lower back and the hamstrings. Breathe out and then bend the knees, relaxing the chest on towards the thigh. Once more, breathing in, bringing the hands up towards the legs, lengthening the backs of the legs. Breathe out and then folding the body over towards the legs. This time again, breathing in, coming into the modified monkey pose, lengthening the backs of the legs, creating that connection between the head and the sit bones, really sending the energy through the sit bones. This time try and keep the legs straight, so we're just folding the chest towards the thighs, lowering the arms either to the shins, the ankles or the floor. Now, if you feel like you've got your weight backwards into your heels, shift the weight so that your body comes over the balls of the feet slightly. So it's a really small adjustment that we're doing with our body. Remember to relax the head. And now we're going to come into a little bit of a twisting flow. So you're going to bend your left leg, but keep your right leg straight. The left hand can either come to the shin or the floor. And my right arm is going to float up towards the ceiling and I'm opening my chest up towards the ceiling. So I've got an extra stretch. My gaze is up towards the ceiling and my right hand. Exhale, bring that right hand down. And then swapping it over. So bend the right leg, keep the left leg straight. Place the right hand onto the floor and float the left hand up towards the ceiling, opening the chest. Breathe out and lowering the hand down towards the floor. Twice more, so right and left. Bend the left leg, keep the right leg straight. The left hand is flat on the floor if you can, or onto the shin, opening the right arm out. Open the chest. Breathe out and float the arm down. Swapping over, bending the right leg, keeping the left leg straight. Right hand onto the floor. Inhale, lifting the arm up and open. Breathe out and lower down. Release the head. This time we're going to bend the knees. Roll up through, drop the hips and roll up through the spine. Coming up to a nice standing position. Lovely. I'm going to turn the other way so you can see now. So we're just going to do a little bit of energy, bringing energy to ourselves today. So again, this is a morning flow. So sometimes we want a nicer, deeper stretch, a slower stretch, but also a little bit of energy. So what we're going to do is we're just going to do what I call twizzles. So we're twizzling our arms around our body. So have a slight bend of the knee. Keep the feet a little bit of hip width distance so that you've got the knees are giving, if you're twisting, with the knees have got a little bit of give. So all we're going to do is twist over and twist to the right and then the left and the right and the left and the right. And just allow the arms to be relaxed, but we're sending the energy out and away. Energizing, then use the breath. So breathe in and out, in and out. And then be mindful of the knees, keeping the knees a little bend. And Claire and Paul, just be mindful of each other because I know that you're standing side by side. And then just bringing that down to a little bit of a slower pace. And then just a pause. And then we'll just find our mountain pose again and see how that's feeling. Feeling a little bit more energized for today. So I'm going to come for a wider stance this time. And we're going to come into slightly wider straddle position. And I'm going to do a nice little flow. So it's not so wide, but enough to give us a bit of a wider stance. So my arms are going to lift up towards the ceiling. And I'm going to cross my thumbs. So my thumbs are going to cross. I'm just going to demonstrate there. So my thumbs are crossed above me. And I'm going to do a circular motion. So I'm just twisting my hips over towards the right hip. And then my arms are going to come down towards the floor. Cracking the hip. And then I'm just going to sweep my hands along the floor if I can. Or just across the legs. And then bringing the hands back up the left hand side. And then back up to standing, moving the hips. And we're going to do that 4 times. So twisting the hips, breathing out. And breathe in on the way up. Using the breath to help you. Again, twisting at the hip, dropping the hands. Breathing in. And twisting around. Breathing out. And breathing in, last time, and breathing out, and breathing in. And then just bring the hands behind you, take the hands and interlace the fingers behind you. So I'm interlacing, and then I'm drawing my hands down the chest, at the back of the legs, kind of the back of the legs towards the floor. Opening the chest out. And then release. And we're going to repeat our little flow to the other side. So lifting the hands up, crossing the thumbs over and drawing the shoulders down in the back. Now we'll go to the left. So rotate the body towards the left side and then draw the hands down towards the legs. Breathing out. And breathe in, opening out. Breathe out, all the way down, relaxing the head. Breathe out. And last time, sorry, losing my microphone. Breathe out and up. And then this time sweep the hands down by shoulder level. You can increase this straddle because we're going to do a forward fold if you want to, or you can keep it there. And we're just going to breathe out and then bring our bodies forward. So breathe out, bringing the body forward. And this time bring the hands down in front of you. So your hands might reach the floor. If they don't, your arms are here and that's fine. If your hands do reach the floor, just bring the hands down and onto flat. And then we'll just relax the head over. If the hands don't, you can keep them there and we'll just stretching the backs of the legs. Again, if you feel that you're pushing back into the hips, just shift the weight over towards the balls of the feet. Nice few breaths here, stretching the backs of the legs. And then rolling, bending the knees, dropping the hips, rolling up through the spine. And then coming up to standing. And we're going to come into our first little sequence here. So we're going to come into triangle pose to start with. So turn the right leg out towards the top edge of the mat, the left leg out towards the long edge of the mat. And I'm just going to make sure that I've got a slightly wider stance, so my heel is in line with the arch of my foot just here. Breathing in, I'm lifting my arms up to shoulder level. As I breathe out, I lengthen out of my waist, drop my right hand down. Now that hand can either come to the shin, the thigh, the ankle, or the floor. And we're opening the top arm. If the top arm if you feel like you're curving over, bring the hand towards the hip and just open the top shoulder so that we're really trying to create a flat position with the body so we're not bending. And then take the gaze up if it's not up already. See what that does to your balance. If you feel like you're a little bit wobbly, just lift the thighs away from the knees, so engage the thigh muscles. And then to help us up, release the hand if it's on your hip, and then lift up through that hand, lift it upwards. Well done. And then draw that the right foot in, and turn the left foot out. And we'll do this on the left side. So inhale, lifting high up, arms up to shoulder level. Lengthen out and drop the hand towards the thigh, the shin, or the ankle, or the floor. Again, we're trying to open the top shoulder, and you may find that one side is slightly different to the other, so the left side might be feeling a little bit more stiffer. And again, you can alter this arm to suit, depending. Trying to open the top shoulder, and remember, you could take your gaze up towards the ceiling, out to the side, or down to the floor. Lengthen the right arm away and lift up, using the arm to come back up. Rotate the left foot forward. And then again, just take a little bit walk the feet out. So we're going to come into a little bit more of a wider stance again. And we're going to come into our forward fold. So inhale, lifting the arms up. Exhale, bringing the body forward. And then bring the hands down in front of you. And then they can come towards the floor. Relaxing the head. So how does that feel? Can you see any difference? Again, if you're pushing back into the hips, try adjusting it so that your weight is slightly forward onto the balls of the feet, relaxing the head. And keep breathing. And now we'll introduce our little arm flow again. So placing the right hand onto the floor, bring the body upright so it's a half lift, bringing the hand onto the floor. If it's not, it's just resting. And we're going to open the left hand up towards the ceiling as we did with the parallel feet. So opening out and breathe out and floating that hand down. Once more, breathing in, lifting the right hand up towards the ceiling. The left hand is on the floor. Breathe out and lower. We'll do that right and left again. Inhale, lifting the left hand up. The right hand is on the floor. And breathe out. Breathe in, lifting up. Breathe out and lower. Bring the body half lift, bend the knees, drop the hips and roll up through the spine, coming back up to standing. And we might want to walk our feet in underneath us and have a little bit of a little jog, a little walk, just to ease out the backs of the legs because we've been there. So we're going to come into a kind of warrior one stance. So my right foot is going to come up to the top edge of the mat. My left foot is going to come to the long edge of the mat. Try and draw that foot in slightly. So normally I'm saying point it towards the long edge of the mat. Try and draw it in a little bit more so that we can draw these hips around towards the front edge of the mat. So we're not hurting our knees slightly. So I'm going to come into a forward fold. So it's like a pyramid pose, a modified one. So we'll start bringing our hands up towards the ceiling. Again, let's cross our thumbs as we did before. So cross the thumbs, lengthen the arms, drop the shoulders down into the back. open the chest, and this time I'm going to lengthen my arms towards my feet, bringing my chest to my thigh. So breathe in, and on the out breath, lengthen out of the hips, drawing the hands towards the floor. Now they might just come to the shin, and that's fine. They might come to the ankle. If you can bring your chest towards the thigh, brilliant. Quite intense, so breathing in, lifting your body upwards, bringing the hands back up. This time on the exhale, sweep the hands behind you, and then interlace the fingers, drawing the hands down the back and the thigh, lifting the gaze upwards and opening the chest. Release the hands. And then turn that right foot towards the front edge of the mat and give yourselves a little bit of a hip wiggle or whatever, release. And then coming the other way, so let's bring the left foot towards the top edge of the mat, the right foot slightly turned in. I'm drawing both hips towards the short edge of the mat so that I'm trying to rotate that, be mindful of the knee. And then this time, inhale, the arms come up towards the ceiling, interlace the thumb, and then draw the body and the arms forward on the out breath, bringing the hands forward. And then when we're ready, inhale, lifting the hands up to the ceiling. And then sweeping the hands down to the back. And then drawing the hands down the back of the legs, opening the chest. Opening the heart. And release the hands. And then bring the feet in together, and we'll just have a little walk. Just release the backs of the legs. So we're going to come into that same position, right and left, but we're going to do something slightly different with the arms. So I'm going to take my right foot towards the short edge of the mat, my left foot slightly turned in, draw my hips towards the front edge of the mat. This time I'm going to start with my hands behind my back. I draw my hands down towards the floor as I did before, open the chest. And then this time I'm going to lead with the chest, and my arms are going to come behind me. So I'm lifting my arms up, drawing my hands up. Now, if that's too intense, just bring the hands towards the small of the back, and we're reaching the body forward. If we can, draw the hands up and over. Breathe in, lift the chest up, and release the hands. Good. And then turn the legs out. So we're just rotating the foot, moments there. And then doing the other way, so left foot goes to the top edge of the mat, draw that right foot in, bring the hips towards the top edge of the mat, interlace the fingers behind you, open the chest, take the gaze up on the in breath, and then on the out breath, leading with the chest and bringing the hands up over. Breathe in and lift the hands back towards the base of the back, and release the hands and turn that foot in. Lovely. And then just walk your feet in, and we'll come back up to standing. So we're going to come into our balanced poses. So we'll come to tree pose for a little bit of balance. So if you want to steady yourself and you need a little bit of support, you can make sure that you're just beside a door or a wall. You're very welcome to do that. And if you're not and you want to find full balance without any support, that's fine. So just do what you need to do to be able to get this. So we're all going to do the same arms today. So a little bit of openness today. So I'm going to shift my weight over towards my left leg, releasing my right leg. My right leg is going to come either to my ankle, my calf, or if I want, wobbling before I even start. If I want to, then I can bring my foot up towards my thigh here. And then once we've got that concentration point, we're going to lift our arms up towards the ceiling. Opening the chest, finding focus, finding concentration. Oh, I'm wobbling today. And then when we're ready, lowering the foot down towards the earth. And then finding that moment of connection with the earth. Breathe out and just find mountain pose to start. Find that moment of stillness, connection, where my weight is, lifting slightly up at the front. And then we're going to come over to the left side. So shift the weight over towards the left leg. The right leg, sorry, lifting the left leg up. Find that concentration point. Breathe in, lifting the arms up towards the ceiling in a nice wide open V. My heart is towards the ceiling. And then when we're ready, releasing the leg and then bringing that back down. Bend the knees. And then come for just a little stretch of the calves. Lovely. So I'm going to roll down into a squatting position. And this is really great for the calves. So my heart, I'm going to start with my head and I'm rolling down through my spine. So starting with the head, reaching down, my arms are reaching towards the floor. And then as soon as I find the floor, I'm going to take the weight into my hands, bend the knees, and then lower the hips. And I'm going to come into a crouching position with my heels off. So we'll just take a moment here to stretch the calves, stretch the Achilles, stretch the feet, which is really nice. My legs are parallel, so it's not a yogi squat. It's more of a kind of crouching, kneeling position. And then when I'm ready, bringing my hands up towards my heart to come into a balance. Lifting the body upright if we can. So we're sitting nice and tall. Making small adjustments with the feet if we can. If you're finding that too difficult, you can always take your hands back to the earth. And then on the next out breath, bringing the hands back down to the ground. This time we are going to come into a yogi squat. So just lift the hips slightly so that and in this position here, walk the feet out slightly so they're wider than hip, toes out, heels pointing down, and then we'll come into a yogi squat. So my hips are low and I'm bringing my hips down. I'm trying to aim to get my heels towards the earth, and that's fine. And we can use the elbow. If your hands are on the ground, you can use the elbows to open you out. If not, we can bring our hands up towards our heart and we'll find that balance. So it's like a strong hip opener. If we can't, if you're finding it difficult, just bring the hands forward and take the weight off the heels. So that's fine, and we can do that too. If you're finding that difficult, come to a kneeling position and opening. And then placing the hands on the ground and then coming back into a kneeling position just here. So just having a stretch of that's good. I know that's hard for your knees, Kate, I realise that. So coming up to a kneeling position, we're just going to come into side plank. So I'm going to be kneeling. My right hand is going to come onto the floor underneath my shoulder. My left foot leg is going to come out forward, toes pointing forward, heels pointing back. And my right hand is going to reach up towards the ceiling. So I'm taking a moment there just to stretch. Now take the arm all the way above the head, lower the shoulders down into the back, and if we can, take the left leg off the mat for a balance. Lifting up in the side, so we're using that side plank to lift ourselves up. And then lowering the leg down, reach the hand up towards the ceiling, bend the right elbow and bob yourself up. And then we'll bring that leg in. And we'll do that on the other side. So take the right leg out, and we're going to be nice and long. The left hand comes underneath the shoulder. My toes are pointing forward, my heels are pointing back. I'm taking my weight directly underneath the shoulder blade there. Inhale, lift the arm up towards the ceiling. Find that balance first, and then reach that hand all the way above the head. Take the weight into the hand, and then lift the leg off. Lifting up into the left side. So we're really trying to reach and lift. And then lower the leg down, bring the hand back up towards the ceiling, bend the left elbow, and just bob yourself up, giving yourself a little bit of support there. Well done. So we're going to have a few stretches. So I'm going to just bring myself onto my hip and then bring my legs out in front of me. So we're going to come into a straddle position just here. So opening both legs out in front of us into a straddle. Now, it might be that your straddle, seated straddle position, it has your legs out this wide, and that's fine. If you can get them a little bit wider, then do so. But try and flex the feet so that we make sure that our knees are pointing upwards, so we're not rolling in or out. And then just finding the two sit bones. So you might want to do a little bit of shuffling there. That's good. Excellent. So I'm going to take my right hand and place it in towards in front of me on the floor. And my left hand is going to lift up towards the ceiling. I'm going to stretch and reach that left hand, and my right hand slides out the other way. So really trying to reach towards that foot. Now try not to collapse. Open the shoulder. You might want to use the right elbow to help you on the inside thigh. And we're opening and stretching. Inhale, lifting up. And then we'll do that on the other side. So swapping hands over, lifting the right hand up, and it reaches towards the left foot. Slide the left arm away over towards the right. And again, opening out. Inhale, this time lifting both arms up towards the ceiling. Rotate the body so that it's parallel with the right leg. So we're rotating at the hips. And then I'm stretching and reaching my hands towards my shin or my foot or back past. So front fold. Inhale, lift both hands up towards the ceiling, come back to centre, and then we'll do that the other way. So draw the shoulders down into the back, twist at the waist, lengthen, reach towards the thigh. Inhale, lifting both arms up, bring the body centre. This time we're going to stretch and reach our hands out towards centre. So perhaps lower them down and start to walk the hands forward. So we might just get to here, and that's fine. And we're lengthening the back away from us. And we might find that actually just by sitting here, we find it and get a little bit deeper and further. And then if we breathe and breathe out, just allow the body to relax over. So you might want to try with your breath, breathing in and then out. Relax at the hips, relax the thighs, relax the lower back. Once more, breathe in and out, relaxing over. And then on the next in-breath, just walking the hands back so to come up to sitting nice and slowly. Bring the hands behind the hips, give yourself a little bit of support, and then just walk the legs in together nice and slowly and steadily. Good. Let's draw the soles of the feet together. So we're going to come into cobbler's pose. So bring the hands towards the ankles if we can. And again, you can alter the width of the gap. So it could be slightly wider position, diamond position, or slightly closer to you. So we're going to just find the 2 sit bones as well. So just do those small adjustments to make sure that we're actually sitting on the sit bones. And we're going to come into a twist. So I'm going to take my right hand over towards my left shin and my left hand comes behind me. I'm going to inhale. On the exhale, I'm going to twist over my left shoulder. Bring the body forward, and we'll do that on the other side. So take the right hand behind the right hip, the left hand on the shin. Breathe in, lengthen up first before twisting around. Bring the body forward. And then this time we're going to come into a forward fold. So lengthen the spine and then bringing the body forward into one piece, nice long spine, no curving. And then when we can shift and lean forward as far as we can, then we allow the body to relax over. And again, using the breath, just think about breathing out and relaxing the hips and the lower back. Rolling up through the spine and then drawing the legs in and out. Lovely, well done. We're going to just come line onto the floor and we'll do a nice little spinal twist just to finish with. So starting with our knees up, we're going to roll down through our spine. So we can either have our hands interlaced with our index finger together, or we can hold on towards the front of the knees, or we can hold the back of the legs and we can roll down through the spine. So just to warm up the core. So in your own time, just rolling down, using your core muscles all the way down, and then coming and lying flat on the back. Open out the arms, walk the feet up towards the glutes and bring the soles of the feet onto the floor. So we're going to come into a nice little spinal stretch first. So lengthen the left leg and then lift the right knee up towards the ceiling, and we're going to float the right leg over towards the left hand side and allow the leg to rest on the floor. Now you might need to just have a little bit of a wiggle to get into that position, that's fine. You could use the left hand on top of the right leg to give yourself a little bit of assistance. The right arm you're trying to draw down into the ground and the right shoulder comes down. And we're just coming in for this twist just here. Take the gaze over to the right hand and try and draw that right shoulder down. And the left shoulder as well. And then just releasing the right hand from the left knee, whichever knee, draw that up. And then we're going to extend the other leg, swapping over, bring that top leg up again and going over to the other side. So drawing the knee across the body. You might need to shift and take your gaze into a twist into the other hand. And then release the hand from the knee, and then just bring the feet back and we'll come into Shavasana. So just getting into a nice comfortable position, lying down. You might want to get a blanket or an extra pair of socks or a blanket or jumper. And in your own time, just allowing your body to relax and rest on the floor. So just allowing yourself to get as comfortable as possible. And then just rest in your hands, either on your belly or by your side. Feel the body, the parts of the body that are resting on the mat. And just to remind you that this will finish in our Shavasana. We won't return back to Namaste. So I'll end the session a couple of minutes early so that you can either stay in Shavasana for your remembrance or celebrate it in any way you'd like. So just allow your body to relax. Enjoy the stillness. And with every out breath, just feel the body softening. Feel the ground supporting you. And allow your muscles to soften and lengthen. Try and notice any sensations that arise in the body. And avoiding any judgment, just stay aware and be sensitive to the messages the body sends. Bring the focus of your awareness to your breathing and notice the depth and pace of your breathing. Allow your breath to become slower, softer, and deeper. Inhale through the nose and exhale through the nose. Inhale and feel the breath travelling down to the abdomen. Exhale and feel the breath flowing upwards and out of the body. Stay connected to the sensations and feelings in the body and give your permission for the body to relax and let go. Breathe in love. Breathe out tension. Breathe in harmony. Breathe out discord. Breathe in peace. Breathe out negativity. Stay focused on the breath and allow the breath to become slower and deeper. With every breath, allow the body to relax. Allow a feeling of relaxation, calm and peacefulness spread through your whole body. Be here and now. Allow the body and mind to flow together, creating a sense of peace and well-being.